Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day. My name is Syazwin binti Ibrahim Elaine Zubir, matrix number 200606, and this is a video presentation for LHE 3223 Literacy and English Language Teaching. And this is about proposal of literacy day, English literacy day, called My Fantastic Fantasy. Okay, so first of all, we're going to talk about what is the main idea for this whole literacy day program. So the literacy day called My Fantastic Fantasy will be like a reading and writing based workshop for a group of standard 6 students who will be sitting for their UPSR examination soon. So why is it called My Fantastic Fantasy? Because at the end of the program, the students need to come up with their own fairy tale story, meaning that they need to write it on their own, using their own idea and their own fantasy. So that's why it is called My Fantastic Fantasy. At the age of 12, students are commonly, or I can say greatly, immersed in fairy tale stories, right? They read a lot of storybooks at schools or even at their home. Therefore, I believe students will really love the idea or find it really interesting when they are given a chance to write and create their own version of fairy tales. I mean, it's their own fantasy, right? So but the program My Fantastic Fantasy, I think it will be a great help for the student to master both reading and writing skills in an extremely exciting way. So here are the objectives of the program. So the first one is to instill the passion of reading and writing among the students. I mean, the program itself is a reading and writing structured program. So we hope to boost the passion of the students towards reading and writing skills. So the second one is to help students to write their own version of fairy tale stories. In this program, we give student opportunities and chance so that they can write their own fantasy, their own version of fairy tale stories creatively and amazingly. Third objective is to prove that writing is not just about writing a boring essay. This is actually the main point that I hope to reach or deliver to the students. Because when we say the word essay, they will start imagining that writing is a boring thing to do. But through this program, we will try to prove that writing essay is not just about writing boring topic that it's not even related to their lives. But writing is actually a fun thing to do if you know how to enjoy it. When you have the writing skills, you can write everything you want, you can get whatever you have in mind, and you can tell the world what you wish to say. So that's why it is really important to know the joy of writing. During the English Literacy Day, the first activity that we are going to do is the ice-breaking activity called Who Are You? During this session, the students will be divided into 5 groups. In the beginning, the students need to introduce themselves and also share their favorite fairy tale story. So, through this small activity, the students are given the opportunity to speak. So, they need to muster up their courage to stand and speak up. Within the 5 groups earlier, each group needs to pick a group leader. The group leader will be the person who will lead the team throughout the day because every activities and missions need to be done in group. So that is why it is really important to choose a perfect person who seems dependable and have the ability to lead the group wisely. Each group will also have a facilitator to guide and assist them throughout all activities. Therefore, the facilitators play a crucial role in helping the students to ensure that they can carry out all missions successfully. It is really important also for the facilitators to know, to master, or to understand the flow of the activities planned throughout the program. After that, the 5 teams need to come up with their own group's name creatively. Then they will introduce their group's names and explain why they choose that name. To make it more fun, the groups can also create taglines or cheers to push their teamwork spirit, hopefully to the maximum level. After that, we are going to have a storytelling time. For this session, even before the actual literacy day, the facilitators will work on creating a fairy tale story in advance. All of the facilitators are involved in giving ideas to write a story that we are going to deliver to the students. During the storytelling time, 5 facilitators will be in charge of this activity. They will be reading, presenting, and also acting in front of the students. Roughly speaking, there will be like a small role play or a simple performance in order to portray the characters clearly to catch the attention of the students. The facilitators will be putting costumes and there will be some props to make the role play fun and more interesting. Through this session, we hope that the students will become more motivated and excited at the same time to write their own fairy tales. The students are also expected to have some kind of brief hints or ideas of what they are going to write soon, because after this, they are going to write their own version of fairy tales. After a short tea break, we are going to have some motor skills activity. The aim of this activity is to pick the main character and the theme of the fairy tale stories that they are going to write. 7 facilitators will be in charge of this session. So there will be 2 rounds of games. The first round is to shoot for the characters and the second round is to determine the theme of the story. For the first round, the facilitators will be wearing the name for the main characters and stand in the circle of students. So the students will form a big circle and the facilitators will be inside of the circle. So what the students need to do is to throw the ball to the facilitators and the facilitators need to dodge the ball. If the ball hits the facilitator, the team will get the character worn by the facilitator. The game is actually quite similar to a game called dodgeball. So for that, the students need to aim correctly for the characters that they want. That is for the first round. For the second round, it will be the same, but the facilitators this time will be wearing the theme of the fairy tale story, which is whether like it is horror, romance, fantasy, or anything else. So the use of motor skills in this game session will make the program more lively and interactive. In this activity, we can see the teamwork of each group and how the communication between them to get the words that they need. We can also see that the bond between the students and the facilitators are getting stronger. At this point, no more awkwardness. By the end of this game session, in their mind, the students should have the idea and the plot of the story that they will be creating. After that, we are going to start writing the story. In the writing session called Write It Right, the students are required to plan out the story plot that they are going to write about. First and foremost, they will be discussing and pointing out their opinions at their respective teams. The students need to make maximum use of their scheme of the characters that they get from the previous session. The game session before this. They need to be more creative to interpret the characters into fairy tale story with a fantastic plot and also a great ending. So as an example, if they get a princess or them as the main character, so they need to know how the princess should look like, how the princess should behave like, so that they can interpret the characters to make it into a story. After that, they can put together what they have planned during their discussion and organize them into a proper sentences and also paragraphs. The time provided for this session is only 45 minutes, but no worries, the facilitators are there to help them to handle the situation. The facilitators will act like a motivator to push the students who are having difficulty to start writing and help them to explore to create their creativity. So they must ensure that the students do their work entirely with their group members so that they can have a complete fairy tale story. Facilitators can also help them to arrange sentences or to search words using dictionary. So basically we can say that facilitators will be their most crucial guide to help the students so they can have a great structured story. After having the lunch break, all group are expected to finish writing their story. So next, they are going to prepare for their presentation. Papers, color pencils, crayon, or everything that they need will be provided. The students need to plan out how they are going to present their fairy tale story creatively. The students are given the chance to show off their drawing and coloring skills. They will learn some basic presentation skills, such as how to attract people's attention to listen to their presentation. The facilitators should explain on how normally the presentation works and what types of presentation that they can do. The last slot for the English Literacy Day is the reading session here. In this slot, all students need to present the fairy tale story that they have completed. Through this session, we hope to develop a sense of creativity and confidence to talk in front of a huge crowd. The students also need to share the moral values of the story that they have created. At the end of the session, the facilitator in charge will ask the student to vote for the group with the most interesting fairy tale. The most voted group will receive a beautiful gift for each of the members. Hopefully, it can be like a motivator to push the spirit of the students to keep writing and prove that they can write their own fantasy so that everyone can read. In conclusion, there will be 6 slots in total for the Literacy Day called My Fantastic Fantasy. I hope that you will find it interesting, and that's it for the proposal presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and have a good day.